Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today our group will present about the effect of FDI on service sector in Malaysia. Okay, and this is our group member. First, NURSYAHIRAH. Second, MARSYA. And last, me, IDAYU BINTI IBRAHIM. Matric number 263913. Okay, first I will explain about the background of the study. Okay, as we know, the service sector play a very critical role in the development and growth of any country. Services are becoming pivotal not only in a country development but also to access basic service and in the attainment of the many other goals such as a poverty reduction. The World Bank has recognized more contribution of the service sector in reduction of poverty than by the contribution of the manufacturing and agriculture sector. Next point, according to the 2011 World Development Indicator, the service sector accounted for almost 71% of global GDP in 2010 and is rising faster than the industrial and agriculture sector. Okay, next. In recent years, the service sector has steadily grown in importance in the Malaysia economy, with the overall contribution to GDP increasing from 38.3% in 1970 to 46.8% in 1990 and 54.8% in 2017. The sector is also the country's largest employer, supplying 3 in 5, which is 62% job in the first half of 2017, according to Treasury Malaysia 2017. Yeah. Within the service economy, as in many other economies, the wholesale and retail trade sector contribute the largest share of GDP at 50.1%, followed by government service at 8.7% and finance and insurance service at 6.7%. You can see from the hour table. And in addition, information and communication service at 8.5%, food, beverage and accommodation service at 7.6%, real estate and business service at 7.2%, and wholesale and retail trade at 6.5% were the fastest growing service sector in Malaysia in 2017. Okay, next point. Malaysia has received a considerable proportion of foreign direct investment, which is FDI, inflow from a major country, which has aided the country's prosperity and country's growth. When a company invests fund, technology and knowledge in economy or business activity outside of its native nation, it is known as foreign direct investment. And next point, foreign direct investment is not new to the Malaysian economy, and it is also the most important foreign sources of financing for many emerging countries. However, conventional FDI, which was predominantly absorbed by the manufacturing sector, has steadily been displaced by service FDI, with financial service FDI becoming one of the world's largest foreign capital flow. Okay, last point. Malaysia has addressed the importance of targeting and growing the service sector in country. According to MIDA 2011, has it made as a development engine to strengthen and sustain the Malaysia economy in its quest to become a developed nation. Okay, next I will explain about the objective of the study. One of the most crucial aspects of any research is the research objective. The objectives are the stage or particular list of tasks that must be complete in order to achieve the project aim. The researcher's main goal is to confirm the accuracy and consistency of current knowledge. It is because FDI is one of the primary concerns for a developing country. its impact on the service sector will produce issues such as economic recession, employment and other issues in the countries, particularly in Malaysia. And this issue will be exacerbated by the financial crisis. Okay, this research also tried to examine the impact of FDI on Malaysia's service industry. So here are our objectives. First, we want to investigate the FDI structure in Malaysia. Second, we want to investigate the effect of foreign direct investment, which is FDI, on Malaysia's service industry in terms of import and export. And last, we want to investigate the role of foreign direct investment in improving Malaysia's service sector capability. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is MARSYA and my matrix number is 272927. So now I will be discussing or presenting our result and discussion. And the first point is the factors affecting Malaysia's SME through inward FDI on the service sector. So firstly, Malaysia has become an attractive country for FDI due to the sound macroeconomic management, the presence of a well-being functioning financial system, and sustainable economic growth. So government policy initiatives such as the Investment and Incentives Act of 1968, the development of free trade zones in the early 1970s, and the provision of export incentives accompanying the acceleration of open policy in the 1980s draw a substantial amount of FDI influx. So therefore, there is the transfer of technological know-hows, which is indisputable that FDI creates a new job and employment for the host country's inhabitants, as well as contributing to equals inflows. So not only that, then there's the an increase in domestic firm productivity, where the FDI can help increase the production efficiency of domestic enterprises in host nations through two channels, which is technology transfer and the spillover benefits. Now, spillover benefits can happen in a variety of methods, including labor and other local staff trainings, public good knowledge features, and learning the reliability of inputs by watching international enterprises. So this leads to the presence of good telecommunication facilities, which is also another component that attracts FDI to Malaysia. So as an example, Malaysia has made attempts to improve its internet coverage and speed in order to compete with countries such as Japan and South Korea, which is the country with high internet download speeds.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURSYAHIRAH binti SHAMSURI. My matrix number 264025. So we continue to my part. It's about 3.2 determinants of foreign direct investments that's inflow into Malaysia. Okay, the first Economics Planning's Unit (EPU) of 2050 issues in Malaysia was the service sector, which described improving the supply quarter as the insurance government supplies of the country. Since 1970s, the service sector has included issues such as encourage liberations, developments immediately issued, and difficult in calculations, the degree of protections and social advantage against through liberations. The features of immediately in service may explain why service industry has been experienced issues since that early 1970s. Such as because qualifying engine tables in service is challenging. The features of engine tables in service. Next, mode 3 is the most prominent modes of service supply in the service industry, accounting between 55 and 60% of global commerce in service. Dependence is important. There are still several shots of impediments to the development of foreign firms in the service industry, because the service sector is divisions industry are used to categorize it. These regulations are written in varieties of ways, typical industry specifics. As a result, drawing FDI into the service sector necessitates an awareness of the hurdles as well as the variables that may influence FDI inflow into the industry. Okay, the next one, conventionally, that determines that the links between foreign direct investment inflow, the degree of reluctance to investment in service is weak. Okay, the policy suggestions therefore seeks make use of the thriving regions markets of the South Asian national Asians markets to the further strengthen foreign direct investments in the service sectors in Malaysia. Okay, FDI stimulates economic growth by creating jobs on the environments in the economic sector of nations. Not just increase employments in the economic sectors, but also by increased capitals, productions, and managing ethics. Okay, the multinational company inflow of foreign direct investments have increased technology employed in economy sector, therefore improving production quality and competitive on the local and worldwide market. Determinants of FDI in the market trace are quite vast and implies in the wide variety of factors that may affect FDI inflow. Foreign direct service investment doesn't not include estimates of their obtainments to direct investments over time and subsector, and it can be therefore not more established whether direct liberations, since liberations efforts have varied between the sectors and over time has had an impact on the direct investment inflow across sub-sectors in Malaysia. FDI inflows change the economy by expanding economy productions capacity and reducing the borrowings needed that strange technicals and management's ability. The next one, 3.3 is about the role of the foreign direct investments on Malaysian economic growth. Okay, Malaysia has the greatest rates of growth compared with the other Asian country, an average of 8.1 annually. A major growth strategy of a government is to attract foreign direct investment FDI. Malaysia has the one of the Asian nations who's opened its productions investment system the most active in the 1980s and 1990s. The Malaysian company has expanded fast since independence in 1957, with the annual average GDP growth of 4% took out in the time in the 1956. So as you can see the tables one, in 1961 to 70, growth was to over 6%. But during 1917 till 18, it peaks almost 8%. And owing to the worldwide economic slopes in 1984 to 86, growth dropped by 5.3% in 1981 till 55. It's fall by 6.1% in 1998, with the annual average is nearly 9% and gradually increase in subsequent years. But in 2014, because of the robust national demands and strong external business climates, the economy gains a growth rate of more than 7%, as we can see in the table. Due to the global financial crisis with stocks in the US economy at the end of 2008, the Malaysian economy lost 1.6% in 2009. The economy recovered back in 2011 was at a 7.2%. So overall, in the international perspective, the economy has expanded fast between 1971 until 2010. Its GDP was fast, around 7%, as we can see in the tables. The next, Okay, the next point is about the relationships between FDI and economy growth. Indicates that FDI is significant source of their capital, supplementing local investments, and is typical connections with the new jobs and improved transfers of technology. Moreover, the favorable influence of foreign direct investments on economic growth has changed equator progress in the development of financial markets. The government should trust given impetus to foreign direct investments to encourage economic growth in Malaysia. That's caused the stimulus inflow of foreign direct investments might be regarded as a reverse policy. The government have a policy of weapons of foreign direct investments in the Malaysians through the high traffics. However, this approach will be limits inflow of money into Malaysians and diminish foreign investor owing to the high cost of productions and the low rates of investment. And the government should trust reduce traffics and draw up measures to ensure independent investments. Foreign direct investment will be grow and hence improve productivity through improving trainings, low production costs, and a friendly business climate. So that's all for me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, now I'll be presenting about the advantages of foreign direct investments 3.4. So firstly, capital holders are very likely to seek the highest rate of return when the free capital transfer across nation rules is repealed. As a result, countries will be in need of cash attempts to attract the multinational enterprises to invest. So as an example, companies like in Germany, for example, were able to benefit from a free market and a fast-growing economy by entering the US market through foreign direct investments. The United States market provides these firms with a large client base from diverse categories, which allows them to expand their productivity and market share. So from here, multinational enterprises (MNEs) are able to collaborate with those host countries as well as the local entrepreneurs in multiple projects, which can indirectly open more employment spaces and can drop the unemployment rate by a huge percentage. So that's not only it. The intercorrelation of foreign direct investments and the human resource being brings significant impact to Malaysia's currency growth. So with employees being the country's human capital, that monetary boom is significant enough to provide adequate training and skills, and this can very well lead to creating a ripple effect to the economy, which is a total win-win on both sides. Okay, so as a conclusion to our research, we can conclude that the expansion of companies into other nations for indirect investments allow investors to gain from favorable market circumstances, a potential target market, and lower labor cost. Foreign direct investment operations put investors in a better position, allowing them to expand their physical footprints and give more possibilities to serve the world's population, especially in the service sector. The broad participation in economics in FDI operations, as well as resulting increase in financial performance, contributed significantly to the growth of the country's economy. So most research, regardless of the metrics employed, confirms that international firms have better productivities than local ones, hence which supports our initial statement of objective. Then, so overall, we can draw the conclusion that foreign direct investments can very much help the host nations, particularly developing ones like Malaysia, third world countries. And companies attempting to create a presence in the international arena have found foreign direct investment techniques to be highly adventurous. Companies were able to expand their activities outside their native country boundaries because of this sort of investments. So companies are have carefully maneuvered their tactics in order to grow their worldwide client base with the primary goal of increasing their market share and margin of profit. And foreign direct investments have been seen as a method to as a competitive advantage.